It's a very crazy thing to tell someone who is grieving that they didn't pray hard enough. And that's what someone told the mother of one of the victims of the Aluu Four. Hi, I'm Roving. Welcome to Roving Through Books. And today I will be reviewing The Lightseekers by Femi Kayode. Look at it. Now, what's this book about? I'll first talk about the Aluu Four. Now, the Aluu Four are four young boys who were in the University of Port Harcourt who were studying. And what the news has on record is that one of them was owed money and he went to get his money back. Now, a little backstory. In the society of Alu, there had been a lot of robbery attacks, and many of the people there felt like these attacks was coming from the university. And this person that was owing money knew this. He knew all of this. So the people in Alu decided that they were going to take matters into their own hands. And whenever they hear someone shouting thief, thief, they will be the ones to mete out justice. So these boys went to get their money and they went early in the morning because this person has been avoiding them. He has just refused to pay. And they went and he shouted thieves upon them and they were burnt. You know, the crazy thing about this is that there were police officers there, but they did nothing to stop it. They couldn't stop it. And it just highlights the evil of jungle justice, how fast everything can go wrong. So it was later on that accounts started coming out that these people were not thieves. They were rather just asking for their money back. But it was already too late. You can't bring anybody back to life. Yeah. The book starts with an investigator, Philip Taiwo, and he's paid by a father to investigate what happened. And this father, it shows the grief of a father who has lost a son. And he can't make sense of the loss. He can't believe it because he knows this is the kind of person that his son is. So how did you get caught up in something like that? But more importantly, it highlights the need for creators to be very careful with the kind of content that we post. You should not use someone's pain for your own gain. I I still see no reason why those videos are uploaded on. If you search for them, you can find them on YouTube. I see no reason why that is the case. Things like that are not even meant to be recorded in the first place, only to be as pieces of evidence for the rightful authorities to check them out. Because um watching people kill someone you love over and over again, it can do something to you, and it is not a video that you can even stop watching of your own accord. And maybe you yourself, you said okay, you're not going to watch it. You can be in a bus somewhere and someone talks about it. Anybody could see that video and they'll talk about it and they may not know who you are, and all of a sudden memories just start springing forth. So it is bad for us to cash out on people's pain. I love the narrative in this book. It was very eye opening. For me, it was very interesting because I've heard some criticisms where the story didn't follow through, but I felt it followed through. I mean, I think I already had a bias for the book where I was like, oh, because this is what this talks about, I am going to love it. And I love it. I loved it and I still love it. So, yes. One thing it does is that it shows how people are easily manipulated. So as people, we base a lot of the things we think and how we see based on what we see. Our actions, our thoughts, they are fueled by what we see, consciously or unconsciously. Which is why recently you see some people be like, "Ah, this person, she's a Twitter feminist, blah blah blah," or why there are now takes where you should not base your relationship or life decisions based on what you see on social media because social media is not real life. Now, some people don't believe this. Some people they find it difficult to distinguish between social media and real life. And when they see things on social media, they just capitalize on it, which was why it was sort of easy for this person to do something. So, what we learn in this book is that there was a mastermind who was inciting violence and he was pitting these accounts against each other. And people were seeing them, so people were taking sides. And this spiraled into something else. And it reminds me of what's going on Twitter now. And I believe strongly it's the same thing. Not because I even thought about it myself. I recommended this book to my friend Miriam, and she pointed it out to me that if you read Lightseekers, you'll see that these are coordinated attacks. And we see so many tribalist coordinated attacks on Twitter, and you just have to know that it's probably most likely just a few people that are behind these accounts, and they can have multiple accounts where they tweet whatever they want to tweet because to a very large extent Twitter allows you to be anonymous. Now you can be found out, but generally people would have just taken what you said on face value and act on it. For example, Apoko Doctor's wife made a post. She's a chef, by the way, very, very amazing chef. And in the post, she was teaching people how to make a local Yoruba snack. And there were some Yoruba accounts that were attacking her. They were saying this is wrong. I am a Yoruba person, but I found nothing wrong in her video because she ascribed it to the tribe where the snack was made from. And she was even playing the Yoruba song in the background to show this is not my culture, but I'm letting you guys know who owns this. It's not us. It's a lovely snack, but we don't own it. And she did that, but some people found problems with that. So I tied it back to Lightseekers. I think the reason why I really love this book is that it tells us that we should not forget certain things. We should not forget the Aluu Four because we should not be in a hurry to do. In fact, we should not even participate in jungle justice in the first instance. Not even be in a hurry. We should not do that because what happens at the end of the day when the person was framed, or what happens when you find out that it was because of a sachet of milk, or because people have been beaten to death in Nigeria over food, and it's not even just like food, something like gari, or because they are trying to survive. So it's important that before we engage in actions like that, we should take a pause and just take a pause. It could be you. In fact, it is so crazy how it could be you any moment because Nigeria is such a great country. In fact, obviously, people have been saying they'll go to the market to buy something, and some markets will start calling them thief because of some transaction issues. And if you find out, you realize that, oh, the market women were up to something funny. So imagine if people have acted out on the, oh, they're calling you a thief and then they kill the person. It's going to be wrong. I like the Lightseekers also because it mentions family themes. I do know I love how much family is mentioned in books still recently. And I like the infusion of family. It just makes the book feel all rounded because nobody comes from their own self. They have a family they belong to. And Philip's family was such a beautiful family. And yeah, I just feel like that. I felt like I was reading parts of his life in a way. It was such a nice thing. Also, there may have been some differences between the Aluu Four and this book because in this book there were 3 people who were victims. In Aluu Four we had 4 victims, but you still make you think of the Aluu Four because the number doesn't really make much of a difference. And that's all for me for Lightseekers by Femi Kayode.